What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, remember a couple days ago, former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries was arrested by the feds and charged with many egregious counts, including trafficking and interstate trickery. Some of the details are disturbing, having basically freak offs. The same thing that is so salacious with the Diddy accusations. The FBI actually confirmed that that's what they are charging this guy with. Taking people's cell phones and IDs, so that you cut off lines of communication. What was it? Sticking high power water hoses where the sun don't shine to make sure that I guess it's certain areas are all squeaky clean for them to engage in all types of filth, foreign and disgusting, well, in my opinion, disgusting behaviors, completely violating people, treating them like cattle, treating them like absolute crap, And to me, when you really look deep into it, essentially they were graping these men, all right? Graping them. Because in some instances they were forcing people to do things against their will. To me, that fits the definition of grape, but that's not what was used. That's not the language that's used. But anyway, somehow, some way, Mike Jeffries was released on $10 million bond today, or it might have been yesterday. And he, was sporting an ankle bracelet. Let me see. Former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries emerged on Long Island Friday sporting an ankle bracelet tucked into his sock to plead not guilty to bombshell trafficking charges allegedly involving young male models. Jeffries, who's 80 years old, was free on $10 million bond, answered to 16 counts, 1 count of trafficking and 15 counts of interstate trickery to Central Islip Federal Court with his wife and son in the gallery. Magistrate Judge, name is this guy? Scroll up a little bit. Magistrate Judge Stephen Tishoni issued a stern warning about the disgraced fashion boss's bail conditions, which include home confinement. Mr. Jeffries, you are putting your family at a financial risk if you do not return to court. Jeffries' $10 million bond is secured by his wife and son and partly by the couple's home on Fisher Island in New York. They also got a talking to from Tishoni, who warned them, if the defendant does not show up to the court, your home will go into foreclosure and you will owe the government $10 million. So let me get this straight now. People are going to take this as, oh, you defending Diddy, because they're low IQ maggots, okay? But didn't Diddy basically offer the same thing in his case? But because I guess he is Hannibal Lecter, for some reason, he was denied 3 different times, I believe, right? The first instance was $50 million in collateral, I think it was. $50 million in collateral. His mother's property, and I think his property, altogether $50 million. That was denied. Then I think they tried it again. He would wear an ankle bracelet. He would limit his travel from his home to the court and the airport. He would go from, I guess, Miami to New Jersey in the airport. Also, he would cut out all contact with women, only limited to his family members. Home confinement, that was denied. And I think they tried it again. I think he was denied again. All right. He even basically, he'd just be a slave almost, slave to his home under FBI surveillance. And they still denied that. But this guy basically does the same thing. And, he was able to do that. Also, if I'm not mistaken, in Diddy's case, the family had their passports taken. What the family got to do with anything? Um, I have a theory as to why this is the case. Obviously, it's the main thing that we're thinking, right? But when you bring this up, oh, let me guess, you got a white guy on the left and a black guy on the right. You're just crying racism. Yeah, let's just act like race never matters in this country. Yeah, it never has. I mean, we look at the history of this country, race never has mattered. That's a brilliant observation. I'm just pulling it out of my ass talking about race. It never matters, ever, in imaginary minds of clueless bigots and the can't really say that word on here like that, but the bigots and the buck dancers that love to sniff the ground that those bigots walk on. It doesn't matter. But I think though is a little bit of that, a lot of that, but there's also I think that there's levels to this thing. Yeah, Diddy is, or at least at one point in time, was damn near a billionaire, and Mike Jeffries' net worth was 400 million. But it's not always about the money; it's about status. And there's this thing. You can have a guy like Diddy, and you can have a guy like Jay-Z. These are what you would call nouveau riche individuals, people who have, in recent years, acquired great amount of wealth. But there's that, and then you have uh, old money, like that. People who have been in a situation of acquired wealth for centuries, or at least several generations. That plus the status of, the first thing I was talking about, that matters. That always is going to play a role in society. If you wonder what that whimpering sound is, that's my dog scratching his ear or some shit. But anyway, that stuff matters. It's not always about color. It's about what that color represents as far as that plus your wealth. It's just codes, okay? Also, Mike Jeffries has been around for a while, right? And Diddy is from one world. Diddy is like a big player in a lot of our viewpoints of things. When I say our, I'm talking about the black community, right? But essentially, Diddy, even though he is, or at least at one point in time, was worth a lot of money, he still will be seen as like a gopher, to the elites, right? Mike Jeffries would be seen as, at the very least, maybe a lower hanging fruit amongst the elites. He's still going to be looked upon as a certain class. I suspect part of the reason why they have granted him bail is because he knows certain things. See, they worry about him telling, because he probably knows a lot of who else is engaged in this stuff, and he might start talking. And to me, we see this reflected in our society. Power is really reluctant to off someone who looks like them. We see it with the police department, right? Someone that looks like me, they'll do it in an instant. The only reason I think they even did that to Jeffrey Epstein is because they had to. He knew way too much. Too many people would have fallen. They had to get rid of him, in my opinion. They would be really reluctant to get rid of a guy like Mike Jeffries. because he's one of them. So they don't have a problem offering him, letting him out on $10 million bond, as long as he keeps his mouth shut. And they'll push all of this stuff off the papers. They'll push it out the papers. He'll go through his situation rather quiet because the media doesn't treat each case the same. We'll probably hear more about this maybe in a couple of months. You got to do a little research and see a little small 3 or 4 paragraph article from time to time on New York Times, New York Post. TMZ will have an article every couple of months, but it's going to be Diddy, 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 dumb Diddy all day. And Diddy, I'm not even, to be honest with you, I'm not even convinced that Diddy is even in that infamous lockup. I'm not even convinced of that. But I do believe that they have him in a situation where, they could be trying to get him to name names, but they're more interested in people that look like him. And he could be naming names too of other people, but that's why I believe that they already are posturing public sentiment a certain way. That's why you see they talking about, Bieber being a victim. And you got primates falling for that. Oh, he's a victim. When they show pictures of Bieber, it's always when he's a little kid. It's a 30-year-old man with a beard and mustache got kid, but they want you to perpetually image him or imagine him as a little kid because, kids are innocent. So poor little Bieber, he was just a kid. He just morphed into a 30-year-old the last 6 months. Before that, he was 15 to 14 years old. Same thing, how they shift popular opinion with a guy like Ashton Kutcher. Now, all of a sudden, to escape the weirdness of Hollywood, all of a sudden now, they want to move to Europe. Same thing how Calvin Candy, a.k.a. Leonardo DiCaprio, he done moved his ass to Italy, or at least he's been over in Italy while this whole thing going down. It's all bullshit. So don't come on here talking about, I'm just playing games. When we see, I'm only playing a card. When you see every fucking time the same thing happens, every single time, it's the same thing. Just like how you got Jaguar Wright now accusing the late, great Kobe Bryant of being a creep. You see people already making videos. Oh, he was a creep. Yeah, man. Yeah, he was 20 years old, man. And she was 14, man. Man, he's a creep, man. Yeah, man. First of all, he was about 20. She was 17 when they met, right? Now, if you want to be, technically it's against the law. Well, where were you technical primate niggas when I was doing videos about Josh Giddey being 21 and the girl 15? Huh? Where were you niggas at then? Well, I mean, if you look at the law here in Oklahoma, see, in Australia, see, technically, according to my calculations, see, fuck you niggas, man. Y'all keep the same energy. I hate all of you all. Y'all know who y'all are. And keep on bucking your eyes. Keep on, shuffling your feet. And keep on doing the Sandman shuffle. And that's all I got to say about it.